save your base at any point because you know the amount of dropship micro that MorroW loves to do. He will counter drop the back of your main and your Mutalisk will be caught off guard on the other side of the map. MorroW now throwing down another command center, getting 2 more factories for some gigantic tank compositions. And is he continuing to upgrade? That's the big mistake a lot of players do when their armies get big, is they forget about the upgrades. These Mutalisks are trying to micro, but MorroW again is everywhere at once.
Oh, and these Mutalisks are going to do a lot of damage. There aren't that many Marines. He does decide to pull out. But MorroW looks pretty cool. Oh, look at this. He's like moving around. And because the Mutalisk can actually fly around, these Marines are taking a while to get there. And just takes down 2 free tank kills. Really nice play by DIMAGA, just throwing MorroW around now. And it looks like MorroW now responding by getting some Thors and some more tech labs on those factories. Huge Baneling Zergling count. It looks like the Hive is done. +1/+1 almost finished for DIMAGA. And oh, there is the magic Ultralisk Cavern. The one issue, though, is that there are a lot of Marauders capable of being made in MorroW's mix. So you have to be very careful of getting too many Ultras. It looks like MorroW is pretty content with just sitting back here. He's got this goal and he will take his 4th pretty soon. I love this Mutalisk harassment by DIMAGA. That's really nice. Putting a lot of pressure on MorroW because he has to deal with this, moving his Marines around. They're actually doing a lot of damage to these Mutalisk. He needs to be careful. But I don't think MorroW should be sitting back right now because he is giving DIMAGA the free time, this comfort zone where he loves to play in. And all these Ultras are going to come out. He's going to have so many resources. And he's just going to be able to crush this army. And it looks like tons of tanks coming out right now for MorroW. He is also getting a Ghost Academy, probably going to be planning on getting some Ghosts for that critical snipe upgrade, which is great at eliminating Ultralisks fast, and you can deal with Mutalisks well. But MorroW has to be very careful not to clump up too much because the Infestor Baneling composition is just so brutal against Marine Marauder mixes. Yeah, definitely. The one thing I do dislike about this tank placement, if you think about it, tanks do the most damage when they are flat out and they are firing all together. But the way these tanks are actually positioned is they're only going to fire one at a time as the units come down. And it looks like these Mutalisks are managing to do a little bit of damage to this bottom command center with Marines. Sprint there in time. Is that Thor out? Yes, indeed it is. So it's going to be much easier to defend. But MorroW not overreacting, not getting tons of Thors, just one. So that way he can repel all of these Mutalisks from a very long range. And look at this. This is pretty smart play by MorroW. Oh, he's got all these ghosts. And the snipes. And look at so much damage, and oh, hello turrets. DIMAGA will not be able to harass anywhere around here, and in particular will have a lot of trouble throwing down some kind of Nidus Worm. Yeah, and look at this. Look at all these turrets out. And the thing is, DIMAGA is upgrading for Ventral Sex right now, so he can try and drop play. Wow. But MorroW has turrets everywhere. There are no drops coming anywhere. And the thing is, it looks like he wants to drop on the army of MorroW. I don't know what he's trying to plan with this, but these turrets are going to nullify any kind of drop. So it looks like MorroW now also getting some Vikings, both players playing quite passively. This Greater Spire is getting upgraded as well for DIMAGA. So this is going to be a big struggle to deal with the huge mix of Ultralisks and the Brood Lords. I'm trying to poke around to see if there are Corruptors out on the map. It doesn't look like it in the production tab. No Corruptors either. And again, these are very late upgrades, only +2/+2 starting now. And MorroW also behind a little bit on his upgrade, so it ends up balancing out okay. This is quite a tense game right now. The map basically is split in half. Neither player wanting to move out. They don't really want to attack each other. And I'm not sure how it's going to start. Is MorroW going to do a slow push, or is it going to be down to DIMAGA to actually fight this? So it looks like MorroW is sprinting ahead with the Marine to try to get a sense of where units are placed, and the answer is everywhere. So he has to be very careful. And here, oh no, here comes a Baneling Zergling drop in the back of the main. So cheap and so easy to do, yet this is going to be brutal. He's going to be able to take out these SCBs. He's going to be able to wander into the supply depot lines. And MorroW, who hasn't even killed off the back of his own destructible rocks, is very, very vulnerable right now. And he's got it. MorroW has to be careful not to send too many units back. And the Banelings going to the natural expansion are not, no, they do the exact 0 amount of damage, so a little bit of a misstep there. And it looks like, though MorroW's going to be okay, a lot of his units are being peeled to the back of his base. It's going to be a little bit difficult to be able to advance forward and be aggressive. Yeah, right now 5 Broodlords are in the making. They are just about to hatch out, and they're going to be, the range on them is so long, and they're going to be doing a ton of damage to all these units. All these units are going to be under fire, and it's looking pretty bad in my opinion for MorroW. He has to be super careful. And it looks like no nukes coming out, no cloak, just making the Ghost purely for that snipe upgrade. More Overlords. Oh, another Baneling drop swinging around to the left side, but it doesn't really matter. This full expansion is almost out. And it's a double Baneling drop there. And it's actually, he actually takes down a lot there. There is one more Baneling left. I don't think he realizes, but there is one more, but it's not going to be used. But, and as well on the gold, The gold is
but it
defended.
gets shut down pretty easily. DIMAGA trying to find some sort of hole in MorroW's defense, but look at MorroW's money up into the 3,000, 2,000 range, whereas DIMAGA is pretty broke at this point in time. The Broodlords are advancing forward to the south position, but there is going to be plenty of units here to defend.
Yeah, and there is a starport with a reactor, but there isn't actually any Vikings. He has no he has 4 Vikings. That should be enough to deal with this harassment. But DIMAGA's doing a lot of damage right now in the south, whilst moving forward at the top.
Oh, and it looks like a whole bunch of units are trying to move through to the north end. If fungal growth goes down on the Vikings, so these Broodlords are just doing a huge amounts of damage here. DIMAGA gearing up for a big push, adding in more Broodlords moving here. DIMAGA is just slowly picking apart MorroW's defense.
Yeah, definitely. And with these Broodlords, they have such close range. And actually, it looks like DIMAGA is going to go in. Is he going to go in? No, he's like baiting. These Broodlords are just, they are doing so much damage against these Marauders. And yes, it goes down. The planetary fortress does go down for MorroW, and that is a big hit right in the gut.
Huge win for DIMAGA right there, and look at this, all these units just eagerly planted to run in at any point in time. There's the cloak that goes for the snipe, doing a ton of damage, just annihilating these Broodlords. Such an awesome play, and here come the Zerglings, and the Marines are trying to take everything out. The tanks are now sieging. They need to do it in time.
DIMAGA comes in from
the
2
Banelings
angles.
don't get a good shot off, so the Marines are still alive, but there are Ultralists doing huge amounts of damage here. But MorroW just has too many Marines. He will be able to rip through this unbelievable mix by MorroW. MorroW is advancing forward to these Broodlords that are still doing absurd amounts of damage. The Mutalisks are now trying to take out everything. MorroW trying to reinforce with tanks, and by some miracle, MorroW is able to come out in the lead.
I've got no idea how MorroW held that. I thought he was going down then. DIMAGA got a perfect surround. He came in from the back. He came in from the front. The thing I think that really let him down is he didn't actually get a lot of damage out of the Banelings. They got caught. They hit Marauders. They just didn't do enough damage. And Marines were left over that really took care of the rest of the Mutalisks and the Broodlords super fast.
Now, the one issue is that DIMAGA does have this third base. MorroW is basically running on no income right now. This is it, this last rich mineral field, and MorroW really should take the opportunity to do a big push right now and not let DIMAGA build back up. Instead, MorroW's playing it safe, just using these Vikings to pick off as much as he can, but still, this is a huge window. It's essentially just these Mutalisks right now. There are a few Ultralists, but with the Marauder count of MorroW, it will not be an issue at all.
Yeah, the longer this game goes on, the stronger DIMAGA is going to get, as he does have this Expo. I mean, MorroW is trying to regain it back, and that's going to help him out a lot. But the timing window right now is huge, and MorroW is just not hitting it.
And I mean, I'm just still so impressed with MorroW's ability to stay in this game and to consistently pull ahead with that great positioning and great control. We have some medevacs trying to heal, but they're all low on energy after that bout. Looks like DIMAGA has loaded up some of his Ultralisks into Overlord, whether they move or do anything. It is a big issue with that scan that he wasn't able to see how many Ultralists DIMAGA truly had. So MorroW now trying to regain this expansion. The only money he gets, he is spending immediately on missile turrets, because that is how low he is on money right now.
Yeah, definitely. And MorroW can see pretty much the forward map. It looks like he's going, these Overlords are actually going to drop along the tank line, but MorroW has such a large army considering that battle just won. And DIMAGA's got to be careful because there are so many tanks
and
right there.
And the big fungal growth on the Viking and these Ultralists at the front fall immediately. Some more Ultralists are unloading, but MorroW just has too many units and annihilates them without taking really any losses at all. MorroW somehow having the money to be able to stay in this game, but MorroW is looking very tentative to advance forward. He's only just secured his bottom expansion command center. He's continuing to siege around this Xel'Naga watchtower so he can control all of his expansions.
Has MorroW crossed the halfway line this game?
I don't even think so.
I mean, he is just sitting on his side.
Yeah, and you know, this is one thing that I've seen a lot of Terran players like doing, especially the little one, is tanks and Vikings in the late game. It's very difficult for Zerg to get a good mix. It's generally Broodlord and Mass Corruptors, and if we go to the DMARO resource count, he is very low on gas, only has 500, so it's hard for him to build with the momentum to do anything.
Yeah, definitely, and he is actually now mining from the south. And it looks like what's DMARO doing? He is moving. He looks like he's going to go straight into the main. If he manages to get this down, though he does have the sensor tower, MorroW knows exactly what's on. He's got to be careful because he is off creep, and these Marauders are going to kite these Ultras, and he'll lose his one needlessly. Very nice play by MorroW. And this is a tough situation for DMARO. He just can't get in.
And for the first time in a long time, I mean, it looks as though DIMAGA has finally pulled ahead, and Foodie is at 144 to 128. So that does mean that DIMAGA has the slightly larger army at this point, but MorroW is in much better positioning. So going back to MorroW's main, he is just continuing to make Marines. He has maxed out on attack upgrades for those Marines and has the +2 for his tanks. So that's part of the reason why he's able to rip through those Ultralisks so quickly.
Yeah, definitely. The place, the sweet spot for DIMAGA right now is at the north. It is not down the south where this new expansion is. The Planetary Fortress being there, and then all these tanks, all the units get filtered through this small little area, and they're going to take a ton of damage. DIMAGA's still looking to get through the back of the base.
Oh, some
and it looks like
snipes
he's
on the
going to go in
Ultralisks.
now.
Very nice, but he's pulling back into these big tank lines, and there are the Marauders. There are just not that many units, and the big bungle growth.
Oh my God, everything's dying. These
is going to fall down.
Ultralisks did
DIMAGA
that.
having the money to break in there. There's almost nothing left for MorroW. DIMAGA may be able to pull ahead in this game, but there is this one planetary fortress that is going to be extremely difficult to break without getting more units. I mean, at this point in time, MorroW needs to pick off that infestor. There it is. And he also needs to pick off one of these weaker Ultralisks, and note that these Ultralisks are 5-3. They are maxed on the upgrades, and look at MorroW being so confident in his control, just continuing to attack.
Look at this little attack. He knows his Ultralisks are off creep, and is he going to lose it? No, it actually gets away. Oh my God, that
will he get
Ultralisk
and there's the
away.
transfuse on the Ultralisk. Very, very nice play by DIMAGA.
Very, very nice play, and he's not going overboard. He's not just going all in against MorroW right now. He's not pushing forward. He knows what he did hurt MorroW a lot. But the thing is, MorroW is now mining from the south, and he's going to be able to replenish quite easily. I mean, he has started Brutals again. He really wants these destructible rocks down, so he's going to use his Brutal to take it down. He just needs to fire, please, DIMAGA, and then the rocks will go down. Is he not? No, he's decided.
No, looks like he wants to continue to push. He has so many Ultralisks and so many Zerglings right now, and this force from MorroW is just so tiny. He just lifts it up and immediately backs off to the south, killing off one of his turrets that was in fact blocking him. MorroW's trying to drop up here on the center Zelnaga Watchtower, and here's some more units trying to kite against these Ultralisks. No, it doesn't look like they do any kiting at all, and MorroW needs to defend this. He needs to repair. Huge shots going off. MorroW trying to defend, but this planetary fortress falls so fast. He is repairing it with all of his units,
and it goes down. DIMAGA takes it down.
DIMAGA having a huge Ultralisk count still, and is way high in the hundreds, and MorroW is just plummeting down to 63.
And these maxed out Ultralisks are doing so much damage. They are just tanking everything. They're staying alive. He's got to be careful. Off creep, these Ultralisks are so slow. Look how slow they are. The Lings come in. Lings are going to get this around. These units aren't going anyway. No, he picks them up. MorroW actually picks them up, but it looks like there are way too many Ultralisks. And DIMAGA wins this game. MorroW calls GG.
That was a very impressive game by DIMAGA. I mean, among the many reasons why people feel uncomfortable playing Zerg against Terran are those big tank lines. That in the late game you can get huge clusters of tanks, and of course they smart fire. They don't fire to do too much damage to overkill, so they do way more damage than you ordinarily think they would. So DIMAGA still finding some way to pick apart MorroW's defense and slowly but surely chip away. There was no luck involved in that whatsoever.
That was a pure skill game, a very high skill game. That was amazing to watch. I think what really helped for DIMAGA that game is he didn't go for the hive so fast, and MorroW kind of pushed out with this cute timing attack. The timing attack was for the hive to make sure DIMAGA did not get Ultralisks or any Brutals out. The thing with DIMAGA, he didn't go for a hive for so long. He just built Lings, 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 Lings. And then
that's such an uncomfortable spot to be in, but he still managed to find a way to have enough stuff to defend.
Yeah, and it was just super play by both players throughout that game. Really impressive play by both players. And DIMAGA says this is not going to be a walkover, MorroW.